Hi college algebra students, this is chapter 4, day 4 on properties of logs. So in our box here we have a couple properties. First one is product property, so you can guess product is multiplication. So when you add logs that are equal, then you multiply the arguments together. Next is the quotient property. If I subtract logs that are the same, you'll divide the arguments. Then the power property shows that this p-value, this exponent, can pop out in front like that. So you'll see we'll do that actually a lot when we're condensing and expanding today. So power property is going to be a big one. Logarithm of each side. So if you have m and n that are equal, say those are the arguments, then if you apply the log to both sides, it still is an equal statement. Same thing as the one-to-one property. If you have logs that are equal, then their arguments are equal. So let's jump in and use these properties. For example 1, use the properties of logarithms to completely expand the following expressions. So we're going to do a lot of the power, quotient, and product property to expand this to be a long expression. So first thing I notice is that we're multiplying. So if I multiplied my arguments, that means I really added them together. So I'm going to start with this, log base 5 of x plus log base 5 of y squared. Again, I just used the product property and I expanded my multiplication. Well, the next thing I'm going to do is the power property, which takes this 2 and brings it out in front. This is the power property right here. So really my answer becomes log base 5 of x plus 2 log base 5 of y. And you expanded that fully. Let's try b. Notice b is being divided, so I'm going to use the quotient property. If I divide my arguments, that means I really subtract my logs. So log of x cubed minus log of y. Using that power property again, I'm going to take the 3 that's in the exponent and bring it out in front. So it becomes 3 log of x minus log of y. And you did everything you could to expand this into a bigger log. Okay. Now trying b. b is a little more complicated because there's multiple things going on. But let's start overall with this quotient. So just like part B, when you divided, you really subtract the logs. So I'm going to start there. ln of x squared times y minus ln of 4z cubed. I applied that quotient rule. Next is going to be the product rule because there's multiplication here and there's multiplication here. So for both of those, I will apply the product rule. So it means ln of x squared plus ln of y minus, now I'm going to put this big parenthesis or bracket here to remind myself that everything on the right is being subtracted. It would become ln of 4 plus ln of z cubed with your bracket. Again, because there was multiplication, I added the natural log. Because there's multiplication, I added the natural log. Now at this step, I'm going to distribute this negative sign because that always gives some errors to people. So I'm going to do that first and just kind of get it out of the way. So nothing changes here, but I am subtracting ln of 4 and I'm subtracting ln of z cubed. Both were in the denominator, so both get that negative sign in front. Then I'm going to apply that power rule. Any kind of exponent I have, I'm going to bring out to the front. So 2 ln of x plus ln of y minus ln of 4 minus 3 ln of z. So this one I really expanded. There's a big part to it. 4 terms this time. And I used the product, quotient, and power rule. Now if we expand, hopefully you can guess that, for example 2, we're going to use the properties to simplify the logs. We're going to condense it to one log. Again, we're going to use our three properties here. I'm going to, again, star the power property, because that's extremely important. We are actually going to do that step first whenever you condense. So what I mean by that is, look at that 2 that was in the front. Now it becomes the exponent. That is going to be our first step. So it becomes ln of x squared plus ln of x plus 4. Now, because we're adding logs, that means I should multiply my arguments. So I'm going to multiply x squared and x plus 4. It's going to look like this. ln x squared times x plus 4. Now when you see that, hopefully you realize to distribute. So overall it would be x cubed plus 4x squared. And you condensed it into one log, or one natural log, from those two. Let's try B. Like I said, the power rule should come first, so this 3 should pop up to be the exponent, and this 2 should also pop up to be the exponent. So that's going to look like log base 5 of x plus 2 cubed minus log base 5 x squared minus 2x squared. Because I'm subtracting the logs, I should divide the arguments. So this argument is going to be divided by this argument. That will look like this. Log base 5 x plus 2 cubed divided by x squared minus 2x squared. Now that's a lot. There's something being cubed, squared, there's some multiple variables. I cannot simplify this. There's no way I can cancel any factors. The cube and the square aren't the same. So I am good, and that's my answer. I combined it into one log altogether. Last example for you. First thing we want to look for, is there any coefficients in front? In all of these, there are no coefficients, so I'm just going to start applying the product and quotient rule. So the order doesn't matter what you want to do. What I notice is that this x plus 5 and this 3x minus 4, I'm subtracting those natural logs. So if I'm subtracting, that means this term needs to go in the denominator. That's the term that I'm dividing. Now the big question is, well, where do I put the 2? Well, it's being added. So go back to our rules. If we're adding, that means I'm multiplying, and I always multiply in the numerator. Okay, unless there's a subtraction sign, that term should be in the numerator. So times 2. Feel free to leave it like that. I know that looks kind of weird, so what I might do, ln of 2x plus 10, distribute that, and leave the 3x minus 4 on the bottom. So again, a really key fact, if it has a subtraction sign, that term goes in the bottom. If it has a positive sign in front, that means you multiply in the numerator. And that's day 4 for you in a nutshell. If you have questions, please bring them to class.